So for those of you that want a design that is more geometric, straight lines, sharp corners, very flat walls, you're going to be creating slabs. So for making slabs, there are a couple different techniques. The first one uses a rolling pin. The second technique uses the slab roller, which is a machine on the other side of the classroom. For the rolling pin, you'll grab some clay. You always wedge your clay. Always, always wedge clay. Okay, because that gets rid of your air bubbles. It also mixes up the consistency. From there, I'm just going to pat it between my hands a little bit just to pancake it out a bit. From there, I'm going to be taking these guide sticks. Okay? So these guide sticks come in different sizes. The ones I have out here for you guys are 1/4 inch, which is about the thickness you want your walls to be. At 1/2 inch, those are really good if you want to do carving into your slabs. So I'll have both guide stick thicknesses out. So depending on what you're doing, you can take one or the other. Make sure you have 2 of them and that they are both the same thickness. So what you're going to be doing is the guide sticks are going to go on either side of your clay, and then you're going to use them to help measure the thickness of your clay slab. Okay. So as I start to roll, I'm making sure that the rolling pin is on top of the guide sticks. Because as I'm flattening the clay, the rolling pin goes down, and then it stops as soon as it hits the guide sticks, and it's not going to go any further down than that. And that's what's going to keep your clay a consistent thickness. If the clay is really wet, it might start to flip onto your rolling pin. It's okay, you can just peel it off a little bit. I suggest kind of flattening in the middle a little bit, and then work out on one end, and then out the other end. Okay. And right now, my clay's not getting any thinner. It's exactly 1/4 inch thick. Okay. If your clay starts to get a little too wide and your rolling pin is no longer on your guide stick, what's going to happen is your clay is going to be a weird thickness. It's going to be thicker on one end and thinner on the other, okay, which is not so good, because that thinner area can definitely crack and break on you very easily. It'll also make it a little bit harder to start attaching your pieces together. Okay. Questions on that? I suggest using the rolling pin and the guide sticks if you're doing just a little bit of slab work. For the base of your sculpture, you can definitely use the guide sticks and rolling pin because you're not producing a lot of slab. However, if you are doing the majority of your projects with slab, I suggest using our fancy slab roller machine. Okay, so for that, you can definitely use a lot more clay. Okay, remember to always, always wedge your clay. And for a slab roller, instead of flattening your clay out into a pancake, like we did with the rolling pin, you're going to wedge and then flatten your clay into kind of a door stopper shape, where it's a little bit thinner on one end and then raises up, so it's like a hill. Okay? So you'll wedge, get into the door stopper, and then you'll take your clay over. So a little bit about how the slab roller works. Inside this gray compartment, there are 2 rolling pin pieces, 2 cylinders. Okay? These have a texture on them. They're really solid, rough. They're really good at squashing out your clay. Never, never, never stick your fingers in between the rollers, because if you do, they could get squashed. Okay? These rollers are set a very specific height and thickness. Okay, so if your fingers get jammed in there, it's going to be really hard to pull them out because this is set at about 1/4 of an inch, which is a little bit thinner than your hands. Okay, so keep hands away from the cylinders. There's a dial up here, so this black dial. This is what sets the thickness of what we want the clay to be. Do not change this. If you feel that you need a slab that's thinner or thicker, let me know and I will adjust it for you. Just leave this as is. It's a pretty good overall thickness that will work well for the majority of students. Then we have this wheel here, okay, which is what turns the rollers. With this wheel, you have to make sure that you turn it counterclockwise. I do have some signs on here. Okay, if you turn it counterclockwise, you'll hear that clicking noise, and you'll see that the rollers are moving. If you turn it the other way, you guys hear clicking? And what this does is it's unscrewing the wheel from the machine. So if you keep turning it in the wrong direction, the wheel is going to fall right off. So make sure that you're always turning it the right way. In addition to that, we have this really long piece of canvas. So this is the same type of fabric that's on our wedging table. This is going to prevent your clay from sticking inside the rollers. Okay, if clay gets stuck to the rollers, there's no way for us to pry that off. Okay, so we're using our canvas. Okay, so with the canvas, it's really, really long. What you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, the canvas has a natural fold to it already. Okay, so you're going to fold it, and then that folded area, you're going to carefully slide it between the rollers. And then on the other side, you'll see that the canvas is coming out. Okay, you only want to pull it about 5 to 6 inches. And then from there, you're going to take the top half and flip it over. Okay. Your clay is going to go in between the canvas, which is also in between the rollers. Okay. You want to take that thinner part of the door stopper, and that's what's going to get pushed in. Okay. By having that slight hill, it's going to make it easier for the clay to go through and pass between the rollers. So, wedge in there, and then I'm going to slowly start turning the wheel counterclockwise, and you might have to give your clay a little bit of a push just to make sure that it really gets lodged in between the rollers. And then I'm just going to turn. Okay? And as I'm turning it, the clay is going to start moving between the rollers. Make sure that this canvas stays flipped over. It's just naturally going to feed into the machine. If you flop it down, you might get folds in the fabric, and those folds will end up getting pressed into your clay. By having it flipped over, it prevents folds from happening. So as soon as all of the clay passes through, you'll see everything stop moving. And then you'll be able to, over on this side, pull the top half of your canvas up, and we have a really big slab. Ooh, ah. So right now, my slab is really long and thin, and that's based on how my wedge shape was. If I want something that's wider and more square-like, you have to adjust your doorstopper wedge piece of clay to kind of suit that. So that might take a little bit of trial and error. You might have to redo this a couple times before you get the hang of what kind of shape goes in. With your slab, you want to make sure that you're always holding it horizontal, okay? And really support it in all areas. Okay, if I hold it vertically, Okay, gravity is going to kick in and it's going to stretch out, and then eventually it's going to plop on you. Okay, so you always want to make sure that you're holding your slab horizontal to make sure that it doesn't warp on you or change. Questions on that?